So although with the recent rain and the colder weather, it is finally starting to feel like winter in Yorba Linda, in the housing market at least, we're already starting to see signs of the winter market thawing and things are starting to heat up. So what does this mean if you're thinking of buying or selling a home in the next couple months? Well, it's exactly what we're going to be talking about on today's episode. So if you've never seen this show before, hi, I'm Josh Alexander, your local Yorba Linda real estate agent, and for 10 years now, I've been helping educate both buyers and sellers how to successfully purchase and sell homes in the Yorba Linda area. So in today's episode, we're going to be going over my February 2025 housing market forecast for Yorba Linda, and we're going to go over everything that you need to know if you're thinking of entering the market in the next couple months in this area. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so like all these monthly episodes, I don't want to bore you with a bunch of charts and data that you don't really care about. That's my job. I look at that in the background. Today, we're just going to be focusing on some of the very basic things that you need to know if you're thinking about getting into the market in the next couple months. So first, let's start with inventory. Right now, we have 72 homes on the market in Yorba Linda. We started the year with 64. So although it's been going up and down over the last couple weeks, we're in the trend of inventory going up, which is completely normal for this time of year. Now, just to give you some context, the beginning of November, we had about 90 homes on the market. So this is very typical. We see homes tend to go down as the holiday season hits, and then they start going back up the second or third week of January. So we're looking at a pretty typical start to the housing market in Yorba Linda. The only thing that's not typical is the amount of inventory that we have on the market in Yorba Linda right now. So if you look at the years prior to the pandemic, we typically had anywhere from 190 to 250 homes on the market this time of year in Yorba Linda. So we still have a lot less homes than normal, and that's a trend that you see throughout all of Southern California. And the majority of the reason is because a lot of homeowners have those low interest rates that they just don't want to give up, and unless they're forced to sell because their family's growing, they got a job relocation, they're downsizing, they're just staying put right now, and they're just enjoying their low mortgage rate, and they don't really have a need to move. So that inventory problem is going to continue to persist unless you see interest rates drop dramatically. Now, the second thing I want to look at that most people are interested in is how fast the market is moving in Yorba Linda, and we're going to break it down two different ways. So first, let's look at the month of January, and in terms of how many homes sold, 36% of all the homes that sold in January sold for at or above asking price, which means that almost 2/3 of all homes that sold in January sold below asking price in Yorba Linda, which is actually a little bit higher than the rest of Orange County. Now, it is very typical to see homes sell for less in January because you do have to remember that if you sold the home in January, typically it went into escrow in December sometime, right in the middle of the holiday season and right in the middle of the slowest time of year, and homeowners that are selling their home during that time of year typically either need to sell it before the end of the year for tax reasons, or maybe they got a job relocation where they just had to sell their home at that time. So oftentimes they're going to be more open to negotiating and getting the buyer a lower price just to make sure it sells as quick as possible. So it's not uncommon to see homes sell for less in January. That trend should start reversing as we head into February, going into March as well, but that is what we did see in January. Just know that's pretty typical because of the time of the year. Now, the other thing we want to look at, which is what sellers are typically more interested in, is how fast homes are going into escrow when you place them on the market. So again, if you look at the month of January, 28% of all homes went into escrow in less than 2 weeks, and 54% went into escrow in less than a month. Now again, those numbers are slightly lower than the rest of Orange County, but they're pretty close, so there's not too much of a difference in terms of the speed homes are going into escrow between Yorba Linda and the rest of Orange County right now. So what this means for home sellers is the median day on market as of right now is about 42 days. However, that can vary widely depending on the price point, how updated your home is, what type of marketing the home has. We're still seeing homes in Yorba Linda go into escrow within the first weekend with multiple offers, but we're also seeing homes sit on the market longer. Typically, those are the ones that need more work, or maybe are in the higher price point, $2 million and above, where that's pretty normal for homes to sit on the market a little bit longer. So in general, a lot of it's going to depend on the type of home you have, the condition, the marketing, but usually on average, you're seeing homes go into escrow in about 42 days in Yorba Linda right now, and I expect that number to continue shrinking as we head through February. Well, why do I believe that number is going to go down? Well, that's going to come to the last point I want to talk about, which is demand. So if you look at Orange County in general, over the last week, demand has gone up by 16%, and over the last 2 weeks, demand has gone up by 31%. Now, when you compare that to the inventory side of things, throughout Orange County we're looking at now, inventory has only gone up by about 2%. So we're seeing a lot more buyers enter the market than homeowners right now, which again is very typical because for buyers to enter the market, all they have to do is update their pre-approval or go get one, and they can usually get those back within 24 hours from the lender, where homeowners have to go through, get their house ready. A lot of them might be waiting for the spring market to come before they place their house on the market. So you're going to see buyers into the market a lot faster every year than sellers do, which is typically how the housing market works throughout Orange County as well as Yorba Linda. So all this means is that over the month of February, you should continue seeing the housing market in Yorba Linda gradually thaw and start heating up more and more as we go through a typical housing cycle, getting us closer and closer to the spring market. Okay, so enough with the data. Let's go ahead and go over what this means for both buyers and sellers if you're thinking of entering the market over the next couple months. And let's start with the buyer side first. So on the buying side of things, especially over the last couple years, it's been really common for me to hear, oh, I'm waiting for home prices to crash. Oh, I'm waiting for interest rates to go down. And that's been the common occurrence over the last couple years. However, over these last couple months, I'm starting to hear buyers talk more about, I can understand that home prices aren't going to be crashing anytime soon. It looks like interest rates aren't going to be dropping dramatically anytime soon. And while I'm sitting here waiting for that to happen, home prices continue going up, and it's making it harder and harder for me to afford a home. So now I'm at the point where I want to get in the market, talk to a lender, and start looking at purchasing a home. So I'm seeing a lot of that happen. But on the other side of things, I'm also very aware that right now in Orange County, a majority of buyers that would love to purchase a home, it just doesn't make financial sense to do so. Either it's too expensive on the mortgage payment side of things, or trying to save up enough for a down payment to be able to afford a home in Orange County is extremely difficult, especially with rents being so high, food being so high. You just don't have enough money at the end of every month to save up a significant amount for that down payment. Now, the one thing I will say to those buyers out there is before you give up on your home ownership dreams, has anybody taken the time to actually go through your finances and see if you might qualify for some of these loan programs out there that would give you $10,000, $20,000 for down payment assistance, or being able to write offers to help you reduce the interest rate by 1 or 2%, making the mortgage a lot more affordable? There are a lot of different programs out there to help, especially first-time home buyers, get into that home. And if you're not exploring those before you completely give up, you might be shooting yourself in the foot, because you might find out that you thought you couldn't purchase a home, but after seeing these different programs, you might be able to actually purchase that home, and you can start looking as soon as this year. Now, the one thing I keep saying over and over again to buyers is you just don't know where you are until you have the information to figure out exactly what the financial side of things look like. And in order to do that, all you have to do is talk to a lender. And it's a win-win situation for you, because if you find out that yes, you do qualify for some programs and you can purchase a home, great. You can get that pre-approval. You can start talking to a real estate agent, develop a plan to go out there and start looking for a home immediately. But if you're still a year, 2 years away, if you're working with a good lender, the best part is you're now going to have that financial goal of where you need to be. The lender is going to come up with a game plan on how you need to get there. And so you have something to work towards. And all of this is completely free. Lenders do not charge you any money to go out and get this game plan started for you and give you that direction that you need, so you know how to actually hit that goal and eventually get to that home ownership dream of yours. Now, if you don't have a trusted lender that you can talk to help develop this plan, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I have a great lender I can refer you to that does a great job of going through the entire process and getting you set up, whether it's a month or two from now or 2 or 3 years from now, to make sure that you can eventually get to that home ownership dream. Now, as a buyer, if you're currently at a point where you just don't want to reach out to a lender yet, but you do want to get some more information about what the home buying process looks like, how to budget, what questions to ask a lender when you talk to them, I also offer a free guide. So if you look at the description or the link in my bio, depending on where you're watching this, you can get that free guide of basically how to budget for a home and get yourself set up for success. So when the time comes, you're going to have a head start over everybody else. So make sure you check out that free guide. Okay, so now for the selling side of things. So this time of year, I'm always getting asked by sellers when I should be putting my house on the market to maximize my profit. Now, the first thing I always say is it really is going to depend on your individual situation, because if you have kids in school and you don't want to pick up and move in the middle of the school year, then really the timing isn't going to matter as much in terms of the best time, but what's going to be the best for you. However, if your schedule is more flexible and you can put your house on the market at any point this year, it looks like we're gearing up for a pretty typical year in real estate based on all the data so far, which means that most likely the best time to place your house on the market for a seller is going to be sometime the very end of February all the way up to middle April. That's when you're going to maximize the amount of exposure, get the most amount of demand with the least amount of competition. After the middle of April, you're going to see a lot more homes hitting the market a lot faster, and at the same time, demand typically peaks towards the end of April into June, so demand starts dropping as you get closer to summer. So to maximize the amount of demand and minimize your competition, end of February to early April is going to be ideal to placing your house on the market. So if that's the timing you're aiming for, what should you be doing right now? Well, you need to be going through and decluttering your house, depersonalizing your house, making sure the inside is clean, the outside is ready to go. First impressions mean a lot, and 100 other things to get your house ready. Now, if you are thinking of selling your home this year and you want to get a checklist in front of you in terms of what you need to be doing to your house, which improvements you can make that are going to give you the most ROI, as well as what you need to be doing to get your house ready for photos and videos and inspections. Again, I have a free seller's guide. You can check that out in the link below or in my bio, depending on where you're watching this, that goes through all of that and more to get you set up to successfully sell your home. Now, if you are thinking of buying or selling a home this year and you want some more personal advice based on your specific situation, feel free to set up a discovery call with me anytime. Again, the link's below or in my bio. We can spend 15 minutes going over your specific situation, and I can help guide you in the right direction to make sure you're making the right decision for you and your family. It's completely free. Schedule at a time that's convenient for you. I would love to walk you through that whole process. Now, if you want to continue learning more about buying a home in Yorba Linda, definitely check out this video right down here where I go over all the new commission updates that you need to know, because it's a giant change that just happened in the industry last year, so you definitely want to learn about that before you proceed. And then number two, if you want to see the average cost of buying a home, what the mortgage looks like, how much you need to be making in Yorba Linda, check out that video right there, because I have to go over all that information and break it down for you to make it really easy. So until next week, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye, everybody.